Okay, so this is what Nicki Minaj had to respond to Trump's tweet about the killings in Nigeria. So right now there is an existential threat in Nigeria, according to Donald Trump. And Nicki Minaj tweeted, "Reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. We live in a country where we can freely worship God. No group should ever have to be persecuted for practicing their religion. We don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. Numerous countries all around the world are being affected by this horror, and it's dangerous to pretend we don't notice. Thank you to the president and his team for taking this seriously. God bless everyone persecuted. God bless every persecuted Christian. Let's remember to lift them up in prayer." So, shout out to Nicki Minaj for posting that and bringing some attention to what's going on. So the issue is there's a lot of people saying that it may or may not be true that there's a lot of Christians being persecuted in Nigeria. The president's secondhand man basically did some interviews recently saying that the numbers are being dramatized and that that is not the case of what's realistically happening in Nigeria. A lot of people are saying that it might be just a ploy to go and get the resources that is coming out of Nigeria. As you know, there is a lot of resources that come out of Africa. So people have been saying that maybe this is just some type of scheme to try to take advantage and get some of those resources. We're going to take a couple of looks at some videos right now, and then let's discuss it. Let's see what's going on.
This week, President Trump threatened to send the U.S. military into Nigeria and to cut off American aid for not doing enough to protect Nigerian Christians. Nigeria and its 236 million people comprise the most populous nation in Africa, roughly split between Christians and Muslims. For years, it's struggled to curtail violence across the country, from international terrorist groups to disputes between farmers and herders. But now, as Nick Schifrin reports, its leadership must face threats from both its internal adversaries and from the White House.
In Nigeria's northeast, the carcass of a truck is still smoking. An office building's facade is burned black, and an army pickup charred beyond recognition. All targets of Islamic State West Africa province, which 2 weeks ago filmed as it torched a military barracks and launched simultaneous attacks across 4 districts. For years, Islamist terrorists have plagued northern Nigeria. Best known as Boko Haram, they haven't only targeted the military. Boko Haram violently opposes female education and in 2014 kidnapped 276 schoolgirls. 82 remain in captivity. It's bombed mosques, blowing up this place of prayer in 2014, killing 120. Boko Haram.
That ain't nothing but the devil. Wow, that is chaos. That is chaos. So let's pause. The people who are responsible, allegedly, for attributing to some of the persecution that's going on right now is the Boko Haram. So these are Islamist militant groups, extremists. So the Boko Haram, the Islamic State West Africa province, and members of the Fulani, right? So those are the ones that are responsible. I just wanted to make sure that we had that.
Has also targeted Christians, as I saw in 2015 in the eastern city of Mubi.
Outside the nearby Church of the Brethren, the damage is everywhere. Inside, high above the podium, the fire set by Boko Haram almost erased the cross from the wall. 16 parishioners died. Ilya Usman is the church's secretary.
When these people landed in Mubi, they will ask you, are you a Christian or a Muslim? When you say you're a Christian, they will shoot you. There's no one single church left in Mubi. They burnt it.
They still do. In 2022, the Nigerian government says members of Al-Shabaab, usually based in Somalia, attacked this church in southwest Nigeria. The floor was still stained from 50 parishioners slaughtered as they attended Sunday Mass. Nigeria says it's reduced terrorism, although it's identified a new group with international links in the northwest called Lakurawa. Most Nigerian Muslims live in the north. Most Christians live in the south. And in the middle, the two groups overlap, as do tribes, farmers, and herders, who can clash violently.
Okay, so in that, was the next statement that was made. So, the interviews that have been had recently, they're saying that it's not just Christians, it's Muslims too, equally Christians and Muslims. So it's not just one specific genocide, and that it's not necessarily new. They're saying this is something that's been going on for years and years and years. But as of recent, more attention has been brought to it. And then with Donald Trump speaking on it and making it a headline, and then Nicki Minaj, people who have this influence, who have these voices that people are paying attention to, they're kind of dramatizing it and making it bigger than what it actually is. They're not denying the fact that it in fact is happening, though. So let me just... It says the silent Christian genocide in Nigeria is finally being exposed. So a statement was released saying that false claims of religious genocide in Nigeria. Yet the reality Nigerian Christians face tells an entirely different story. Over 52,000 Christians living in Nigeria have been murdered since 2009, with more than 7,000 murders occurring this year alone. The gut-wrenching photos and videos online depict Islamic terrorist groups hunting innocent Nigerians down with assault rifles and burning them alive. A staggering 80% of Christian deaths worldwide come from Nigeria. So that's interesting, because there was a poll that was had recently, and it was a list of all the different places around the world where the Christian persecutions were being had. And on that list, Nigeria came in at either 7 or 8. They were a little bit further down in the list. The first place in the list was North Korea. So if they're saying that 80% of the numbers are coming from Nigeria, Nigeria is claiming that that is false. Those numbers are not correct, and it's equally Christians and Muslims. And the polls are putting them down further too. So no one's denying the fact that it's happening, but more so denying the fact that it is as serious as it is. Either way, it's happening, though, and that's a problem. That is a major problem. So let's see what Donald Trump had to say. Oh man, this is crazy.
Could be. I mean, a lot of things I envisage, a lot of things. They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. And they have other countries very bad also. You know that part of the world, very bad. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
That was President Trump last night on Air Force One talking about Nigeria, and as you heard, not ruling out sending American troops there. He is responding to claims on social media that Christians are being killed in large numbers. Those claims, though, have not been substantiated, and Nigerian officials say any unilateral American operation would violate their sovereignty. Joining us now, MSNBC Pentagon reporter Priya Sridhar. So, Priya, what exactly is he addressing here?
Well, that's a great question, Katie, and it's unclear exactly what prompted him to post this initially on Truth Social on Saturday, when he basically said that the Nigerian government had to stop the killing of innocent Christians, or else the United States would cut off aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that, quote, now disgraced country, guns a-blazing. He went on to say that he was going to instruct the Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet. In response to that, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth posted on X and said that the Department of War is preparing for action. And now it seems as though there's a social media conversation happening between all these world leaders, because Nigeria's president, Bola Tinubu, has also responded on social media saying that there is no religious persecution happening inside of his country. Nigeria is made up of 220 million people, and there's about half Christians and half Muslims inside of that country. But if you ask most security experts who are familiar with the region, they will tell you that a lot of these extremist groups that President Trump is referring to, like Boko Haram and the Islamic State of West Africa, are killing Muslims and Christians equally. So it's unclear what exactly prompted this. We do know that Senator Ted Cruz.
Pause. See, they're making it confusing because they're saying, on one hand, it's not, they're like, the religious persecution is not happening, but then on the other hand, they're saying, okay, well, so it is happening, but it's not just Christians. It's equally Muslims and Christians. It's not an either or. It's equally alike. There's a lot of confusion being had right now surrounding this, and that's crazy to think that we are confused about whether or not Christians are being persecuted in another country. It's not funny, but it's like, what conversations are being had amongst the leaders for this not to be more clear? I just don't understand that. I don't know. But shout out to Nicki Minaj, though, for bringing this to the forefront for people who are maybe not paying attention or don't know that this is going on. She used her platform for something good. And you know, Nicki lately, she been using this for like her own personal stuff, but this, you know, she personally went on there still, but she brought some recognition to something that needed to be addressed and talked about. So shout out to Nicki Minaj. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know, what do you guys think? Do you think this is happening in Nigeria? Do you think that there could possibly be a ploy to fight for resources? Do you think that this is a lot of confusion going on? What are your thoughts on this? Let me know. Drop a comment, like the video, and then subscribe to the channel. All right, I will see you guys in another video.